so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hello, all you positive heads out there. Thanks for tuning your beautiful brainwaves into another episode of the Positive Head Podcast, where we are firmly convinced that creating success and happiness is rooted in understanding the ultimate nature of reality and the fact that as human beings, we are all immensely powerful fractals of the one and only source consciousness, which creates and animates all things. Now, of course, understanding this powerful truth is one thing. Applying this incredibly empowering wisdom to everyday life, well, that's another. Which is exactly why we provide you with a fresh serving of soul food for thought 5 days a week to help constantly remind you of what matters most. You are it. And I'm your host, Brandon Beecham. I'm the reflection and extension of you who will be here each Wednesday interviewing a different consciousness changemaker. And on the other 4 weekdays, leading the way to ensure that your perspective is consistently expanded, your vibration is constantly elevated, and your heart is overflowing and full. Also, this episode of the Positive Head Podcast is being brought to you thanks to the support of Gaia. If you're not familiar, Gaia is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content online, and you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out. All right, all you positive heads, welcome back to another episode. So happy to be here with you guys to connect as always. And today I have a very special guest here with me in the studio. I have Tas Upright, who is not only a listener of the show, but a listener of the show who's went through a pretty unique life experience in the last couple weeks, one that is played out on the world stage with the shootings in Vegas. And Tas reached out to me after her experience at the event and was, some of the things that she had to say about it and the perspective that she gleaned from it and came away with, I thought was worthy of sharing with you guys. And she was gracious enough to be willing to come on the show and share a little bit about her experience and how some of the things that she's been working on within herself really helped her to deal with this very, very trying situation that, so many people went through that evening. So with that being said, I would like to welcome Tas to the show. Hey there, Tas. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I am so good and so glad to have you here. And, it's only been, 9 days now since you went through that experience that you went through. And, maybe before you tell us kind of what you experienced there. And by the way, guys, none of this, we're not looking to share lots of gruesome details or anything like that. More, as you can imagine, positive things that you can glean from her perspective and from, really personally to her, right? And, but before we kind of get into that evening and what you went through and experienced within yourself, why don't you share a little bit of your background, who you are and what you do?
Okay, so I grew up in Vegas. I'm Thai, so I've always, been a Buddhist in a way. It's just kind of a given.
right. Comes with the territory.
Yeah, so, when I was a kid, we had to meditate literally once a week in school, living in Thailand. So as I got older, being the typical teenager, I got angry and
When did you move to the States?
1995.
Okay.
Pretty much, I started doing yoga a few years ago, which has helped me a lot with life. Because no matter what in life, there will always be stuff that will happen, and it's just how you take it, how you.
Your perspective, right?
Your perspective and how you react to it. So I became a yoga instructor of, I think, 4 years now. Mm-hmm. So I've been practicing for a few years, and it has helped me calm down a lot. If anyone that's met me before yoga, they're like, This is like a totally different task. I mean, I've always been a good person, always been compassionate and caring, but it's just I'm just so calm now. Like nothing can get to me.
Right.
And
that's so you've been practicing. You said about 4 years, and you're actually an instructor.
4 or 5 years. I don't. Yeah, I'm an instructor.
Wow. And how frequently do you teach yoga?
I used to teach at least 13 to 25 classes a week.
Wow.
I know.
That's a lot.
Which doesn't sound like a lot to people, but
that does sound like a lot to me. Jeez.
Yeah.
I practice yoga, and I'm excited if I make it like 3 times a week, you know. Of course, I'm
Yeah.
not teaching, but just even attending, you know.
yeah. And then that's plus a class a day that I was also taking.
Right.
So, fortunate to like just able to teach yoga full time. And I created Booze Yoga a few years ago too.
Booze yoga.
Yeah,
Okay.
'cause-
What is booze yoga about? It's an interesting name.
You drink and do yoga.
That's interesting.
at certain bars or like breweries in Vegas. And it's not about getting wasted and doing yoga.
Right,
People
right.
are like, how do you do yoga
Right.
and then drink at the same time? Like, how do people stand one-legged? I'm like, it's not about getting drunk. It's just about connecting people. I love to connect people.
You know what I love about it? It's the dichotomy of it. It's like I love when you mash two things that don't go together because in our world we have such a society where it's like we judge and we put things in boxes. We constantly put things in boxes. Okay, you're this and this goes together. Peanut butter goes with jelly. This does, And when I see someone like mash up things that normally don't go together, I always love it because it's like, yes, break the mold. Yes.
Yeah, and I know that doing that might upset some people. Like, oh, how dare you do that to yoga?
Right.
It's sacred practice.
Right,
and I'm
right.
like, you know what?
Everything's sacred.
Someone's
in its own
gonna
way.
get mad about anything,
Yep.
literally anything, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna go for it. I consulted one of my senior teachers that I look up to, that a lot of people in Vegas also look up to, and I was like, I have this idea, and I just want. In a way, I'm like, I want your blessings.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me what you think about this. Like, if I were to launch this, would this piss people off? Mm-hmm. And he would say, you are sitting on a gold mine. Like, you seriously need to take that idea and run with it. Do it.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, done. So I started doing that. Basically, is to get people to start doing yoga.
Right.
That...
Maybe otherwise you wouldn't reach.
Yeah, that because they're like, okay, because I kept
Like,
getting...
okay, if I
yeah.
can have a beer while I'm doing this, I'm in.
Right? Because I kept getting friends who were like, you were like so calm and just chill now. Like, all this yoga has really helped you. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, I want to do yoga, but I can never. And I'm like, well, why can't you?
Yeah.
If I can't do it, why can't you?
Right.
And they're like, I'm not flexible. And I'm like, I wasn't flexible.
Yeah,
I'm still working on stuff
I gotta
now.
say, I've always been like really not very flexible. As I remember as a kid, I grew up in Virginia, and I remember we had like you could get, I forget what it was called, like the presidential award if you were excellent in all the different exercises and physical ed class, in PE. And I would, I remember, running the mile super fast and doing push-ups, doing whatever it was, sit-ups, all the things, and I would excel in all of them. And it was the V-sit and reach where I failed. And it caused me not to, because I like couldn't reach even to my feet, bending over. And now I can, because of yoga. So when I was like 12 years old, 11 years old, I couldn't even reach my feet. And now... now so it definitely, it's like anything. You practice it and you get better, right?
Exactly. Just give time to get there. Just start somewhere.
Right. So let's fast forward then. So you've been practicing. You're someone who dealt with some agitation issues as a teenager. You started doing yoga and meditation about 5 years ago, and now fast forward, you're at this event on the 1st, and you were actually bartending. Yeah. Were you doing? You weren't doing booze yoga.
No.
Though. Okay.
I was actually bartending. I bartend too on the side, like when whatever I can get. Just I love doing it. So pretty much everything that I've done with yoga, with meditation, being aware, like focusing on being present, being aware, staying calm when things around you are just fucking going to shit. Because even just in the last few months alone, like I was going through some tough stuff, and I just handled it all by myself. And I have a lot of support there for me, but I just got through it my own way, and in a way that kind of prepared me for anything that comes my way. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, if anything else is going to go bad, I'm ready for it. So then, as now at the event, and then I'm going to talk about how yoga and meditation has finally became this amazing tool to help me get through during it, and then the week after, and even to now. Because I'm a healer. I'm a Pisces. I'm an empath. Like, it's in my nature to want to help other people. Like, I wish I was home right now to be there for Vegas and people that were there too. So Sunday, let's see, it was finally like last day. Jason Aldean was like halfway through his set, and we were like so stoked to be done. We were working literally 15-hour days. Wow. Like, we were there from 10 a.m. until like 1 or 2 a.m.
Wow.
The bar I was at, we had, so there was like about 230 people working the bars.
Okay.
We had them like spread out everywhere. And I had a team of like 24, I think, at my section working. And we were like out of ice, out of everything that people wanted.
Yeah.
I think an hour or 2 hours before the event was even going to end. So everyone was just frustrated and tired. But I stayed calm. I didn't get stressed out. I don't ever let anything stress me out. I'm just like...
It's a good choice.
Yeah. I'm like, I can be stressed out and make this night even longer, or I can just breathe through it and be done soon. I get to go home, take my shoes off, and rest up my feet against the wall.
Right.
And then chill out and sleep. And then when the first round went off, I looked up and I thought it was fireworks. And I'm like, oh, there's no fireworks though. And then second round went off, and someone's like, woo, yeah, because literally everyone thought it was fireworks.
Right.
And then the third round, I saw this, like, people started running from that direction of where the shots were coming from. We didn't know where it came from. We thought that maybe it was literally on site, like on property. So then the third round, when I saw the people running from that direction, now I see cops running towards that.
Oh, man.
I'm like, okay, what's going on now? And then I looked around, and there was like no one else I worked with around me. They like just booked it. I don't know where they went. One of them actually was I booked it so, he was so panicked that he actually cut his hands up really bad. This was like the dude that was like right next to me the whole time.
Wow.
I don't know where he ran to, but he had to get surgery.
Wow.
So then when I finally heard someone say, get down, take cover, people were running across the field, like where the crowds were going towards, which would have been right in the open field where
kind of like
was spraying. So then I was going to go around the corner to take cover, but I realized I would have walked right towards it in a way. So just staying alert and staying, present and being aware helped me make decision. So I said, okay, I'm just going to go right behind here. So I ducked and went right behind where I was standing, which was like a compound that we had kept a lot of our liquor and such. So I went back there to hide with a few people, and there was just a tarp and then like some beer carts. So we just stayed there, and I stayed calm the whole time. I was like literally like a walking, moving meditation, like open eye meditation.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, this is, actually I talked on the show yesterday, just to interject real quick, about challenges force you. Eckhart Tolle actually was talking about how challenges force you to become intensely present. It's almost like you think of someone, you hear about a car wreck or whatever, where your life flashes before your eyes or whatever, because you become really present in the moment.
Yeah.
Did you feel that kind of an experience?
Yeah, it still was still all unreal to me. I wasn't really sure what was really happening.
Right.
Because we took cover and someone said to just stay down. And I didn't want to just sit there because I felt like now my head is kind of still up. So I lay down on the ground with, I think, 4 other people. I had a girl that was gripping onto my arms crying. I had 2 other girls crying. And I had this couple, like, people were on the phone with just chaos all around me. And I kept telling the people around me, just take a breath.
Right.
Just breathe. Stay calm. It'll be okay. Just close your eyes and just breathe. And then finally now I hear the shots closer and closer. So now I think this guy or this shooter, one of them at least, would be next door now. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this dude is probably spraying that room and he's going to find us in here.
Wow.
So that's when I actually got on my phone. I made a post because no one knew I was there working, like 5 people, I think. So I actually made a post, which just to get it out there that, hey, I'm here. This is what's going on right now, because at that time there was nothing on the news.
Yeah.
Because it literally had just happened. So then I just lay there, and that's when I realized this is really happening. This is like what's going on.
So you're laying there and you're thinking to yourself, this person, not knowing they're up in the hotel,
Yeah.
right? You're thinking they're right next to you, about to come to the area where you're at and just shoot you laying there on the ground. Gosh, what an intense...
But I felt at peace.
Wow.
Like, I felt really calm that I'm like, the way to, like, the best way to explain it is, like, imagine a monk. I think there's like a, just all this chaos around you, right? Like, all these noises and stuff. But it was quiet for me.
Wow.
I mean, I heard the bullets, like, flying through. Heard people crying and freaking out, but I felt so calm and at peace that, like, I was safe.
Wow.
Like, this is it, and this is gonna be it, and I'm okay with it.
So when you say you felt calm and at peace, was it like you had surrendered to, I'm going to die? If I die, I'm surrendered to that feeling? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, like, this is probably my time. I'm not gonna fight it.
Wow.
Because there was no running away. Like, where I was actually, I wouldn't say safe because there was seriously, like, nothing safe there, but I felt like where I was the safest spot. And I didn't feel like I was going to be harmed in any way neither. That's the weird thing. Like, I felt like my energy shield was just solid at that point. Like,
so even if you were... That's interesting. So it's sort of like, it makes me think of, actually what you're saying right now makes me think of a meme that I posted the other day and then found out I should have researched it. It actually wasn't said by Buddha. Someone attributed it to Buddha, but nonetheless, I really like it. And it said, Buddha was asked, what have you gained from meditation? He replied, nothing. However, let me tell you what I've lost: anger, anxiety, depression, insecurity, fear of old age, and death.
Yeah.
Is that something... Buddha didn't say it, but is that something that you would say? I mean...
I'll say that, but literally...
I'll take credit.
I can say that ever since I started doing yoga meditation, mainly, like, focusing on meditation, I don't get mad. I don't have anxiety. Definitely haven't been...
I mean, because you're faced with death there, and it doesn't sound like you had a fear of death.
No. And I thought that I would... I just thought it would be different when you're that close to dying. Because fear pretty much all comes down to death. Whatever you fear is because you think you're going to die. So the moment when you feel like you're actually dying, sometimes it panics people, and that's why people get anxieties, and then they lose their mind. But I felt really calm. And I do credit the fact that, like, I do a lot of meditation, being centered, just staying grounded, staying calm in the middle of all
chaos.
Yeah, really helped me. It helped me and helped other people calm down.
Yeah.
Because every decision that I had to make after that or during it all were crucial. I'm like, okay, whatever I decide now will either hurt me, save my life, or I don't know. Like, I live in the moment. So when I finally, this was like, it felt, they say it was 11 minutes of shooting. Was that weird? Number 11. It's
Wow.
so weird.
Yeah, wow.
When it finally stopped and I later for a while. And then honestly, literally, I didn't feel like I was going to be harmed. Like, I felt like...
So you had, so you felt protected, but you also said you had moment. It sounds to me, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds to me like you went through a wave of different feelings at different times, because you said at one point you felt like he was right next to you, and there's a chance like you could be going and you're going to be surrendering to death if it happens.
Yeah.
But then you also had moments. Was it just sort of like riding waves of different feelings at different times? Like at one moment you thought, well, this could be it, and another you think, no, actually, I think I'm gonna make it through this.
Yeah, I think that could be why I felt so at peace too, because I knew I wouldn't be harmed.
Yeah.
Like, let me just say, my spirit guys, I feel like it's not just one. You're a badass, and I thank you. Like, literally, I felt like they just shielded me, like, solid, and just be like, hey, this is what you're going to do. Because every decision that I was going to make, something would stop me first. I'm like, okay. Like, I was so... The best thing to do when it comes to any situations that in life that will throw at you is to stay calm and think things through. Because when I finally had someone come and say, okay, get out, like, move. You need to leave now. Move. Most people would just get up and just bolt, right? Because that's what people kept doing, like, during it, which I get. Some people act of a panic. They just want to just...
Flight or fight, right?
Yeah.
They're flying.
Like, no one's going to be able to... And not a lot of people can stay calm when stuff like that's happening around you.
Right.
But I feel like, I've trained myself enough to stay alert doing it. So now the shots stop. And so I'm on my knees, and I stay there for a little bit to make sure that it's like, no, nothing else coming around, or... Because I still didn't know what was happening. And then where I was nowhere near an exit. I mean, I was, but the exit that I would be closest to would take me towards...
The shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like right off Las Vegas Boulevard. And that's why I took cover too. So I stayed there for a little bit, and I crawled out. And I'm like, all right, there's no more rounds coming or being reloaded. I need to just go for it. And then I walked out, and all these people started running. The field was pretty much almost cleared out by that point. And I'm looking at this open field, and I'm like, fuck. It's not even a big field. And I can run fast, but it's not about how fast you run. Because I didn't know where he was. So I'm like, okay. So I started walking towards this direction, and I'm like, I left my purse. And I know where it was. So I'm like, I'm close to it. I'm going to go back and get it. And I had, a couple of dudes who were like, what are you doing? You need to keep moving. I'm like, I left my purse right here. I need to go back and get it. And I'm still calm the whole time. I was never like, what the fuck is going on? I actually ran back, dug a little bit, found my purse, threw that shit on, and I'm like, all right, now I'm looking at this field. I'm like, okay.
That had to be intense. Going to run across the field had to be like...
And I looked to my left one, there's this bleachers and I saw a lot of people behind there, like, kind of moving towards an exit. And I'm like, I'm not going to go there to take cover. And I still felt, in a way, I didn't feel like I was going to be harmed at all by that point either.
Yeah.
And I was alone, too. And so finally I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go behind the bleachers because that's not safe. People are moving slowly. I'd rather be somewhere where I can move a lot faster. Because even if I were to go there to take cover and concealment, like, there's, I would get trampled or something. So I just kind of stay down, and I didn't run too fast, but ran through the field until I saw some officers, and they were like, okay, like come out.
You made it to safety.
Yeah.
Kinda.
And then I won't get into details.
What did you feel? Yeah, obviously you saw people that were shot and a lot of stuff. But what did you feel at that point? Were you like, oh my gosh, I made it? Like,
no, at that point, I was still like, okay, I'm here now, but I'm like, where do I go at this point? Trying to stay calm, looking around me and see if anyone needed me. I felt I wanted to help other people, but it was just chaos. And I still felt pretty calm the whole time. It just, like, it was seriously just weird.
Like something out of a dream, huh?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because really the thing that jumped out at this, obviously, if I'm having you on the show, there's plenty of people reporting about all the awful things that happened. What I really wanted to draw attention to was what, when you reached out to me, what really stuck out was, hey, I went through this thing, and I'm a yoga teacher, a meditation, practitioner. I practice yoga all the time. Meditation and yoga all the time. Mm-hmm. And this really served me in this moment. And it's something that I think is so important for people. Once you get centered, once you realize that you can get centered in your own being, and these are two of the key, meditation being the number one way to do it, yoga being a great way as well, and sort of a physical exercise, complementary, physically active, practice. But I think with all the changes on our planet, there will probably be a lot of things that happen, and a lot of upheaval, maybe natural disasters, or just we're at a time in our planet where there's a lot of positive and negative energies sort of mixing it up in the same space on planet Earth, which is what planet Earth is about. But I feel like we're going through a very intense time where you have a lot of polarity, a lot of positive, a lot of negative, and they're coming together in the same space. And for any of you guys listening, what a great example for not only you guys, me too, how important it is to, at this time on our planet, to get really in tune with yourself, really centered in yourself. Like Eckhart Tolle talked about on yesterday's episode, when challenges arise, you'll find yourself, instead of being panicked and doing things that cause you to cut up your hands and need surgery and, all these sorts of things, and maybe even worse because of your fear, you become intensely present because you've already found that center of yourself. So even if a storm is raging around you, you become like the eye in the center of the storm. And it really, to me, when you recounted your story to me the first time, that's what it sounded like. It's like you became the eye in the center of the storm. And my guess is, if you hadn't started practicing meditation all those years before, that would not have happened. You would have...
Probably not. But there will always be things in life that are out of your control. But what you are always in control of, and I always tell this to people, your breath and your mind.
Yeah.
If you just take a moment and just breathe. And I seriously meditate all the time.
Yeah.
People are like, how do you meditate all the time? I'm like, I meditate when I'm walking. I meditate when I'm driving. Mm-hmm. And they're like, how do you meditate when you drive? Like, meditation doesn't mean you have to close your eyes or lay down or sit down. You can actually just have an open eye meditation. Meditation is simply focusing on your breath and being fully present of where you are at that moment. And just breathe. And
breathing is the connection to it. Yeah, I think that's a wonderful, wonderful point, and a wonderful place for us to really kind of wrap this up is, every moment, not just sitting quietly with your eyes closed, making every moment a moving meditation, walking, making as you walk, and if you're finding yourself anxious or in a fearful state, connecting with your breath and deep breathing, you cannot stay in that state if you're breathing deeply. And it's interesting that that's what kicked in for you when you were in the most intense place. You're sitting there and people all around you clinging to you, crying, chaos, and you're remaining calm, focusing on deep breathing. So Tas, thank you so much for your inspiring story and coming and sharing. You truly are an inspiration. And what I'd like to do, as you guys know, as you probably know, as a listener of the show, I love to leave a song. And since you're co-hosting today and sharing your amazing inspirational story, I'd like to give the DJ controls to you. What is a song that you find peace and solace in, and that you'd like to share with the listeners?
I love a song by Iron and Wine, Flightless Bird, but particularly the version of where... they're getting married. It's a song from Twilight. I have no shame. I
have no shame.
I literally...
Iron and Wine is good, actually, so I'm anxious to hear this. And
but yeah, the wedding version is just beautiful. The way...
Flightless Bird.
Yeah. I listen to the song literally every single day. It's on every one of my yoga playlists.
Oh, wow.
I play this in my classes. And when I have rough days, which, it's still gonna happen.
Of course.
But it's like I said, I don't lose my shit or anything. Like I'm still grounded, and I always listen to the song, and it helps. Like towards the end, he does like this humming sound that's just so soothing to me. Literally, it always like I can feel like that vibration.
Isn't it cool?
That-
Music is like Tom Petty said, who just passed. Tom Petty said, music is the closest thing to magic I've found in my life because it can touch you in a way that nothing can. That there is definitely energetic encoding in certain sounds and harmonies and whatnot. So, thank you so much, Taz, again for being on the show, and we will leave you with.
I actually want to mention sound therapy really quick.
Oh, sure, yeah, go ahead.
And then there's sound therapy too that actually helps. If you look up stuff like solfeggio, I think I'm saying that right.
Solfeggio, yeah, like 432 hertz.
Yeah, like all those where they have a few. There's like return to oneness, and then there's one that's like releasing anger and fear. When I feel ungrounded, like I'll sage myself and then I'll blast that and just close my eyes and meditate, and I can feel like that vibrational energy where in my energy field like
great
just
accompaniment.
growing.
Walking meditation.
Which it helps a lot in that. But yeah.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Taz, again for sharing and connecting, and hope you guys enjoy Iron and Wine, Flightless Bird. Until next time, fly straight and journey well. Love you all.
Just take deep breath. Everything will always be okay. Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Love you all. Also, if you're craving more consciousness elevating content, be sure to check out Gaia, which is my personal go-to source for streaming consciousness content on the web, where you can stream an incredible 7,000 plus exclusive videos covering 5,000 years of wisdom. As you all hear me constantly say, it's a daily conscious effort to maintain an elevated vibration. And if you're looking to journey deep down the rabbit hole to do so, then Gaia is the best place I know of to do it, period. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out.